A very good morning to all of you. I'm starting with the screen share. So first, let's start with the things we have discussed so far. In the last two lectures, we have discussed about the variables, and I asked you first go for the concept called personification of variable. Please understand variable as persons, so they behave just like we human beings. We human beings live in a society. Variables also live with their fellow variables. We called our unit as family, where all the people are related, they live together. So for variables, the relationship is called hypothesis. All hypotheses collectively in one particular place, they will be called model. So whenever anybody say model, it means there are certain variables, they behave in a certain way, they have some sort of relation. This will be called as a model. Our attempt will be to make a model which will be used everywhere. So it's a sort of a mother of all theories, a theory containing all the theories. This is our consistent human endeavor. So for this, we are doing the research, we are adding new things from the different domains, and this particular thing will be called as the gaps in the study or rationale of the study, why we are going for a new study. So we discussed these things. I told you that actually there are only two gaps, either a new variable or a new relation. Then it's okay, you can always validate, you can always say not many studies been done in my area, but that's a sort of a validation only, not a new concept. In today's lecture, we will discuss about just a quick recap of various data collection tools. Now, when I say data collection tools, it means so far all of the research in whatever domain you do, except the languages and literature, it's almost the same. All sort of research, whether you do it in commerce and management, engineering, pharmaceutical, or even it may be in medicine, it may be in physics, chemistry, science or social science. Anywhere you do your research, it starts with the problem identification variable. We study what the people have done on that variable so far. It's called review of literature. We try to make certain hypotheses on the basis of previous work. And then we discussed about the how we'll commence ahead with this research. This is called research methodology. So research design or sample design. Sample design is a part of research design. So when we go for the data collection, here science and social science will differ. Science will take the route of experimentation, while social science, we have the two methods, either a primary method or secondary method. The various tools in the primary method or primary data collection, they are questionnaire, schedule, interview, observation, and other methods. The basic difference between questionnaire and schedule is that questionnaire, generally consider it as mail questionnaire. You send by email, the other person will receive it, fill it, and then give it back to you. Earlier it used to be postal mail, now you can say email. Whereas schedule is something where you go with the schedule, you talk to the person, the respondent, and then you fill the thing. Think in terms of an illiterate person. An illiterate person cannot fill your questionnaire. So you can go to the person, you ask the questions and narrate the answers. The person will say something and you fill on behalf of that person. So that will be called schedule. So the only difference between questionnaire and schedule is that of how it will be conducted. So questionnaires are generally sent on mail or email. Schedule, the person travels with that, talk to the person and then fill himself or herself. Interview method is used where you want to get the in-depth analysis. Interview can be of various types. You can find in the books numerous types of interview. But there are certain things you know, in questionnaire and interview, the problem is you are asking, other person is telling you something, and you have no other way but to believe the person. You take the things from the other person. Another method is you don't ask, you observe. So there are certain very crucial areas, sensitive areas. There we don't ask questions, we observe the thing. Then observation can further be disguised or non-disguised. Disguised means the other person doesn't know that you are observing that person. Non-disguised means the person knows that there is a camera and he or she is being observed. Again, there are numerous issues with that. And then there are few other techniques like projective techniques are there. Projective techniques are used like sociometry, thematic apperception test, Rossman's test. So these are used in the specialized area, not in every research. So these are the some of the primary methods of data collection. Then there is a secondary data. There are the published source. So it can be books, journals, articles, magazines. It can be on TV, radio. It can be database, government reports, periodicals. Where the data is existing, that's called the secondary data. When you collect on the first hand, it's called as the primary data. Now we come to the link that connects English and statistics. In the previous two lectures, we talked about a variable. Then simply writing two variable doesn't make it a bivariate. There is some inventory of the words like relation, association, effect, influence, difference, compare, differentiate. These words must be there in your objective to make it as bivariate or multivariate. So now the question comes, the most important, the heart of the research is the measurement. Measurement is something we should discuss it in face-to-face meetings because it involves so many things. There are numerous books that are written about it and everybody feels I know pretty good about this. Let me give you my observation about it. So I divide it into three parts. One is a question that is asked to the respondent. The second is the response given by the person, and both of these are not measurement. So I consider measurement as the inference I can draw from the answers. Please look for. One, I will ask you certain question. Second, you will reply me something. From that reply, what I can infer, this I am saying as measurement. So let's take with an example. I asked the two questions, one is gender, one is qualification. So we need to discuss the two concepts parallelly. The one is the format of the question, the second is the measurement. How I can frame the question? There I can find there are two ways. I can frame open-ended, I can frame closed-ended. Open-ended questions are like, what is your name? Now I am not deciding that what answer you should give. Whatever your name is, you will tell me that. Or what is your age? So you give me age. So basically asking the question and you are giving me answer and I have no restriction on your answer. You can answer anything. So this is one way, open-ended. Open-ended can further be categorized into two heads. One, it is called quantitative, other it's called qualitative or textual. If I'll ask you, what is your age? I expect you to answer like 32, 35, 40. But you should not answer here as it's enough. I asked you a question, what is your age? And you said, yeah, I am old enough. No, that's not what I am expecting. You should answer me in quantitative terms. So this will be called as open-ended quantitative. That you can answer anything. You may answer 32 or 300. That's no problem. But it must be a number which I am expecting. The other is open-ended qualitative. How do you feel about this quarantine or lockdown? Write in 200 words. Now this is a textual information. It's an open-ended. Anyone can use any sort of choice of words. You can express your feelings. It can be in various languages. It is all not quantitative. It is qualitative. It's textual. So open-ended questions are of two types. Let me just tell you once again, we are starting first by discussing the type of question. I have not written type of question in this text file, so that we can just discuss verbally. Questions can be categorized in two heads, open-ended and closed-ended. Open-ended further can be categorized in two heads, qualitative and quantitative. Now coming to the closed-ended. Closed-ended are very funny things. Here, questions will be mine and answers are also mine. For example, I make a funny question, how do I teach? Extraordinary or amazing, only two options are there. Now, if somebody wants to say that what sort of question is this? I want to say something else. But I will say, no, you got only these two choices. So it's a very funny thing. Questions are mine, answers are also mine. So this is called closed-ended questions. A general thing we see whenever we talk about closed-ended questions, we find multiple choice question as the first thing. So multiple choice question means there is a question, there are various options, and a person is supposed to tick on any one of them. There is a special category where multi-tick is allowed. We will discuss them later. As of now, I am considering multiple choice question means various options are there, but number one, they must be holistic, should cover all options, and number two, a person should tick on any one of them. So this is multiple choice question, closed-ended multiple choice question. Then there is binary question, only two choice. So if you can see on the screen, gender, boy and girl, this is a binary question. A binary question means only two options are there. While qualification, graduation, post-graduation, PhD, this is a multiple choice question. Whenever there are more than two categories, it's called as multiple choice question. Temperature, 10 degree, 20 degree, 40 degree, it's a multiple choice question. Then there are few more questions, more types in closed-ended. Other than multiple choice question and binary question, then there are ranking question, rank the following, and scale. Now whenever I say scale, people say, yeah, we know, it's a Likert scale. No. As of now, we will say scale are of two types, reflective and formative, and we'll have a separate discussion on this some other day. So basically, I have said about the four type of things. What are the four? The first one is MCQ, multiple choice question. The second is binary question. The third is ranking question. And the fourth one is scale, which are further of two types. It's formative and reflective. Now, every sort of question will result into some answers, and we have to infer. So let me say it once again. Everybody know about measurement. Everybody have an idea about the four types of measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Let me add my two bits. My simple approach is, there is a question, people will reply to the question. From that question, what I can infer will constitute the measurement. Now we can take an example. I ask the question, gender, boy and girl, and let's assume I have two persons or three persons with me. A, B, C are the three persons. I asked the same person to A and B. A said, I am a boy, and B said, I am a girl. Now I want you to make certain conclusion or inferences about A and B. One, I know that A is a boy, B is a girl. That's good. Any other inference? Can I say A is more than B? Does it make sense? A is more than B. Naturally, you will ask more in what terms? Are you talking in terms of salary? Are you talking in terms of marks or weight or height? In what context you are asking? But I say, no, no, there is no context. Simply tell me whether A is B more than B or B is more than A. So you will say it's a meaningless thing. It doesn't make any sense. How can a boy will be more than without any context? So when there are two categories, two responses, and we can't draw any other conclusion other than that A is a boy, B is a girl, this will be called as a nominal measurement. The meaning of the nominal is only for namesake. It's just an identifier. A is associated, A is identified as a boy, B as a girl, and we cannot do anything else. Let me take another question, qualification. Now I have made it as binary. I have removed the third option of PhD. I have made it as binary question. Now can you see from the type of question, gender and qualification both are the same. Both are binary. So let me ask the same question to A and B. A said I am a graduate, B said I am a postgraduate. Now please tell me, can I conclude B is more qualified than A? Does it make sense? I hope it is making sense. We can say, yes, we can compare the category, and with this only this data, I can say that B is more qualified than A. So we have two things. I know A is a graduate, B is a postgraduate, and I also know B is more qualified than A. I want you to focus on the word more qualified. When we say more qualified, it means we can compare the categories. We can put them into ascending or descending order. Now it means looking from the question, both appear to be the same, both appear to be the binary, but whatever the response will come, from that response, what I will infer will constitute the measurement. If I can compare the categories, I can say this is more, this is less. I can arrange them into ascending or descending order. It will be called ordinal. If I can't do that, that will be called nominal. Let's go through a quick questions. Which brand of mobile you have? The options are Apple, Samsung, LG, Motorola, Nokia, Lava. Now, can I say a person having Apple is more than Samsung? Now you must ask me in what context. If I provide you the context price, then perfectly Apple is more costly than others. But if I don't give you any context, it's simply A said I have Apple phone, B said I have Samsung phone, and C said I have phone from Micromax. Now here these will be nominal because we can't compare category. We only know about that this person has this brand of the phone and we can't compare them. Look for something else. Marital status, unmarried and married. What is your viewpoint? It is nominal or ordinal? So it will be nominal. We can't say that married people are more. You have to give context that I'm talking in terms of happiness. I'm talking in terms of problems. There you may have certain opinion, but if I'll simply say A is married, B is unmarried, you can't say A is less or more than B. But if the question is how many kids you have, and the options are up to 2, 3 to 5, and more than 5. So my question is, how many kids do you have? Up to 2, 3 to 5, and third option is more than 5. Now interesting thing here is any person who ticks in the third category more than 5, please look for, I don't know exactly how many kids he or she has, but I know whatever number of kids he or she has, it will be more than the person who ticked in the other two categories. If person ticks in first category up to 2 and one ticks in the third category, it means the person who ticked in the third category 5 or more certainly has more number of children, more kids than the person who ticked in the first category. And see the beauty. Neither I know how many kids exactly are there with the first person or second person. I don't know that. But still, I can infer that the person who ticked in the third category got more kids. So it comes out as ordinal. Okay, there is a question that can we put boy 1, girl 2? Doesn't matter. You can put it in any way, boy or girl. My question is, I think you are asking about coding, whether we should give code 1 or 2. We are not talking about the coding as of now. I am saying you simply say boy or girl. Okay. Now Supreme Court of India says, enough of your this bullshit of boy girl all the time. Compulsorily, you have to include transgender. If you are making any form of the admission or maybe the faculty recruitment, please remember, as per the guidelines of Supreme Court of India, you have to mention as boy, girl as the and the transgender, or men, women and the transgender, male, female as the transgender. Now, if somebody click on transgender, it doesn't mean he is less or more than boy or girl. It doesn't matter. Either you need to give a context in what terms you are talking. For example, I am talking in terms of height of the post teenage. A boy will always be, or most of the time a boy will be taller. Then this becomes, if I specify the context, it will become ordinal. But if I simply ask, are you a boy or girl, this is a nominal, because I cannot say A, who's a boy, is more than B, who's a girl, or vice versa. It doesn't make sense. Context need to be there to make it as ordinal. Otherwise, it will be simply a nominal. Look for some of the examples that are given in the books. Sachin Tendulkar, when he used to play cricket, he had a jersey number of 10. I have not changed the screen, but if it's not visible, let me share it once again. So this is the same screen. I have not changed. You should see measurement, the 4 types: nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio on the screen. So Suman, please give feedback if it's not visible. If it's visible, then okay. So I was giving you example of Sachin Tendulkar with a jersey number of 10. And let's say Saurabh Ganguly has 99. And let's say Dhoni got a jersey number of 1. Now it doesn't mean Sachin Tendulkar is 10 times better player than Dhoni because his jersey number is 10 and Dhoni got 1. So it simply says that whenever you see anyone with the jersey 10, please understand he will be Sachin. And if you see number of players and somebody with the jersey number 1, he will be Dhoni. So it's just an identifier. It's not good or bad. My mobile number starts with the number 9. And if someone's number starts with 7, it doesn't mean Suman is inferior or superior to me in any way. So it's simply an identifier, a number. When we can compare the two things, for example, take something else. If I look for features of your handset, mobile handset, then if I'll say Samsung, Apple and Nokia, there you may say that this phone has more features, this has less features. This will be in ascending or descending series. This will be called as ordinal. So look for certain things. The place you belong to, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh. This is a nominal measurement because nobody can say Tamil Nadu is more than Karnataka. Doesn't make sense. Either you need to give context. Without context, you simply belong to a place and that's it. We cannot conclude anything else. Look for anything other things. Experience. experience up to 10 years, up to 20 years, up to 30 years. So we will say any person who say my experience is up to 30 years will certainly will be having more experience than the persons clicking on the first two categories. And the beautiful thing here is, if a person ticked in the third one up to 30 years, can you tell me what is the exact experience of that person in number of years? No, you can't tell, but you can simply say whatsoever it is more than the first person who ticked in the first category of up to 10. So experience, your qualification, your income, they are ordinal. I hope you understand why they are ordinal, because we can compare them. We can say this is less, this is more. If you can't compare them, then this will be a nominal. Which brand of laptop you have? So it can be Dell or HP or iPad. So it is simply a nominal. If I'll ask for price of your laptop, it can be ordinal. So please remember, I hope you are with me. There are three things, friends. The first, you ask a question. Second, the person will reply. And third, please infer from that reply. Please conclude from that reply. Whatever we can conclude, on the basis of that, we say a measurement is nominal, ordinal, interval. Now here comes a tough question. Let me ask a tough question. The tough question is, if I'll make it like this, age, and my question is 10 to 20, and then 20 to 30, 30 to 40. And if I'll ask you, what is the category? Is it nominal or ordinal? 99% of the people just by reflexes say it is interval. Now, actually, you know what they are saying? There are two terms, interval as a measurement, and then there is something called class interval. Please look for the rule which I have spoken to you. Let's assume there are two persons, A and B. A said, I fall in the category of 10 to 20. And B said, I fall in the category of 20 to 30. Now, first thing, I know some of you will be very worried. What about the 20? So please remember, technically this is kept as 99.999, and this one is kept as 29.999. So in the statistics, we call it as inclusive and exclusive series. We write it as 10 to 20, but 20 will be taken in the next case, not in the first case. So please don't worry about the people of 20 years age. Focus on the question. There are two persons. My question is, I asked age 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Is it ordinal or interval? Look for the scenario. A said I am between 10 to 20. B said I am between 20 to 30. All I can say that A is lesser in age than B. A is lesser in age than B. I cannot say how much is the difference between the two. First thing, can you tell me what is the exact age of the A? Looking from here, he or she said, my age is between 10 to 20. And my question is, how much is the exact age of A? You can't tell me. So what is the interval measurement then? In the interval measurement, a third thing comes, that we can compute the difference between the responses. We can quantify. Please look at once again. There is a graduate, there is a postgraduate. So I can say postgraduate is more qualified than graduate, but nobody can specify how much more. Can you put them into quantity? Can you say 3 years more or 4 years more or 2 years more? No, we can't say like that. We can simply say postgraduate are more qualified than graduate, but we can't specify it in terms. Look for the example. Temperature 10 degree, 20 degree, 40 degree. There are the three cities. In the city A, it was the 10 degree. In the city B, it was the 20. And city C, it was the 40 degree. I request once again, audio problem is a very frequent problem. Please wait for some time or you can rejoin. So let's go ahead with the interval. In the interval, first thing, please note, in all the measurement, there is a property of the previous one. Like ordinal has all the property of nominal. I can say that A is a graduate. This is first which I got from this answer. And second, I can say B is more qualified than A. So when I go to temperature, I can take it like this, that A city got a temperature of 10 degree. City B has a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and city C has a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. So it is got all the property of nominal. Coming to ordinal, temperature of B is more than temperature of A and temperature of city C is more than A and B. These are the properties of ordinal. Look for the third thing. The difference between temperature of A and B is that of 10 degree. And the difference between B and C is that of 20 degree. I can quantify. When you can quantify, this will be called as interval measurement. If you cannot quantify, you can simply say more or less. This will be called ordinal. Please look for the three once again. A nominal is one where you can simply identify this one or that one, which nationality you belong to, India, Australia, or Canada. So you answered India. Somebody else asks Canada. I cannot say the person who answered Canada is better or inferior to that of person of India. No, it's simply an identifier. Then second comes ordinal, where you can put into ascending or descending order. For example, your salary. Salary up to 1 lakh, from 1 lakh to 5 lakh, more than 5 lakh. So any person who say more than 5 lakh will certainly have higher salary than the other two category people. So that becomes ordinal. But I cannot say the person having 5 lakh and one person having up to 3 lakh, how much is the difference of their salary? I cannot specify that. If I can specify that thing, that will be called as interval. So I request you, please look for questions do not form measurement. It's neither their answer form measurement. Whatever inferences you draw from those answers, they form the measurement. Please look at it very carefully. One is question, one is answer, and third is inference drawn from that answer, conclusion drawn from that answer. That is called as a measurement. So if you can just put as an identifier, that will be nominal. The literal meaning of the word nominal is just namesake. Second is ordinal. Look for the word order, ascending order, descending order. You can put into hierarchy. You can say this is more, this is less. That is ordinal. You can say this is more or less, but you cannot say how much more. This is precisely the interval measurement. The example I have taken is that of temperature, 10 degree, 20 degree, 40 degree. So this will be interval. So please look for another example, marks. If I have your marks, out of 600, the marks are, first person got 510, other got 500. So I can say the person having 510 marks got 10 marks higher than the other person. I can consider it as interval. But if I have considered the marks in terms of first division and the second division, all I can say, the people securing first division got higher marks than those of second division, but how much higher I cannot tell. So there, first division, second division, it is ordinal measurement, while marks out of 600, this becomes interval measurement. Now in the interval measurement, we can say this is 10 degree less, this is 20 degree less. But can I say this is 2 times? Please look for this question. My question is, can I say there are the 3 cities A, B, C, the temperature of A is 10 degree, temperature of B is 20 degree and temperature of C is 40 degrees Celsius. All temperatures are measured for the three cities on the same day at the same time, and all are measured in degrees Celsius. Can I say temperature B got 2 times temperature of A and temperature C got 4 times the temperature of city A? Most of us will say, yes, we can say it is 20, 2 times 10 and 40 is 4 times, but we cannot say. Reason being, if you can say like this, then further there will be next thing will be there is a city with the temperature as minus 10 degree. Now in this case, what will you say? How much is the temperature of city C to that of city D having a temperature of minus 10? Can you say it is minus 4 times? Or there can be something else. There is a very cold city where the temperature is 0 degree. Now my question is, how much times the temperature of city C to that of city E? E got 0 degree. So we cannot say this is 4 times. The correct answer is city C got 30 degree more temperature than city A. 30 degree more. Okay. City C got 20 degree temperature higher than city B. Since I can quantify 10 degree, 20 degree, this is called as interval. If I cannot say, it's simply cold, very cold, hot, very hot, it will be ordinal. If you can quantify, this will be called as interval. And look for the last example, weight. I asked, what is your weight? One person said 40 kg, other said 80 kg. Here we have no hesitation in saying a person of 80 kg is twice the weight of person having the 40 kg. So here we can speak in terms of times. So if I just write here one more word associated with them, nominal, no mathematical tool technique we can simply count them. There is no mathematical tool we can apply. In ordinal, there is a higher or lower, we can give the rank only. In interval, we can find out the difference. There is a plus and minus. We can use plus and the minus. And in the ratio, there is a concept of multiplication or division. So let me remove this. So the actual statistical symbol is it is less than or more than, and there is nothing. So basically, why we say measurement are only of 4 types? Because our basically mathematical operators are of 4 types. That's why these are just a reflection of those mathematical operators. When we go for the nominal measurement, we can simply count. These much girls are there in the session. I cannot say they are good or bad or superior, inferior, nothing. The second comes ordinal. Ordinal, we can say this is more, this is less. In our 99 or 98 participant as of now, some will be PhD degree holder, others will be PG, and there might be any UG. So we can say PG are more qualified than PG, and PG are more qualified than graduates. More or less. How much more? I can't say. Then it comes to interval, where we specify the difference. We quantify the difference between the two. That is called interval. And ratio, where we can talk in terms of this much times, divide, multiply, we can do. So what is the property of ratio? How it is different from interval? The biggest point of ratio measurement is the 0 is fixed. The 0 makes sense. In the interval, please look for 0 degree temperature. It's not, when I say today it's a 0 degree temperature, it's very cold. Please look. Am I saying there is no temperature today? If I say it's a 0 degree temperature, am I saying there is no temperature? No, there is a temperature and we call it a 0. So 0 is not the absence of the phenomena. The real 0 means absence. Please look for it. I am sitting in Kurukshetra, Haryana. You are sitting in some other part of India. If we just measure the difference between us, We can find it will be in kilometer, miles, or something like that. We can find the distance. But if my question is, what is my distance with myself? The answer will be 0, because distance starts when movement starts. When I start moving, then the distance will make its sense. From one place, you must move, only then distance will come. When we say height, it means you are talking to the floor level. Okay, so ratio, the first property of the ratio is, this is where the science operates. Science all the time starts with first defining a zero, and then they define a particular thing. That's why meter, centimeter, gram, kilogram, time, hour, minute, second, everything comes there. So everything in science, zero is fixed. So when you conduct any experiment, when you measure the things in the actual units, where we have devised the units like height, weight, distance. So these things will be ratio measurement, and we can say this is 2 times, 3 times, 5 times. So if we can just compile the things, and if we come back to this question of age group, now look at it once again. And what is your, how do you see it, age group? Is this ordinal or is this interval? What do you see it? Look from the property which I spoken. A person said my age is between 10 to 20. B said my age is between 20 to 30. Can I say, just look for the inferences one by one. The person A belongs to the age between, his age is or her age is between 10 to 20. Correct conclusion. So this is nominal. Whatever is the age of A, whatever is the age of B, B is elder to A. A correct conclusion, this is ordinal. Can I say A is 10 years younger than B, or B is 10 years elder than A? Can I say this? No, I am afraid we cannot say like this. Or we can, why so? Because actually A can be 11 years and B can be 29 years. Here the difference is of 18. A can be 19 and B can be 21. Here the difference is of 2 years. We can't say, but comfortably we can say whatever is the age of A, whatever is the age of B, we can comfortably say B is elder, senior to A. So it is an ordinal measurement, not an interval. Why so? Because in interval we can quantify the gap. Here we can't quantify the gap. So this one is ordinal. So please look for the most important thing. I asked the question, what is your age? Now this is a best way. Reason being, a person here say I am 15, other person here say I am 30. I can say this person is exactly half of the age. Now it is ratio. So I want you to understand one thing, friends. One is how the variable is in actual, but how you measure it makes a hell lot of difference. These are two separate things. Please understand it this way. For example, you got a wall in your room where it is white paint is there. So if you ask anyone, what is the color of the wall? It will be white. But if you wear a goggles of green color, to you it will appear as green. If you wear the brown color goggles, it will appear as brown. It means it's not important how that variable is. The most important is how you measured it. Please try to understand. If I'll ask question, what is your age? Fill in the blanks. That is the best sort of measurement. It will generate ratio measurement. Because I get the real numbers, 15 and 30. I can say all the rest of the things. See, A person is 15, B is 30. It is nominal measurement. B is elder to A. It is ordinal. B is 15 years elder than A, interval, and B is twice the age of A, it is ratio. So it means it got all the properties. It is the best way of measurement. But our experience is the more you ask open-ended question, the less will be the response rate. Hence, we have to look for this sort of measurement. age group 10 to 20, 20 to 30. People feel more comfortable in giving the vague answers than giving the correct answer. Think of the question. If somebody asks you, what is your net taxable income? You will never like to share your net taxable income. You feel very comfortable up to 5 lakh or 5 to 10 lakh. You feel happy, but nobody wishes to give exact income, exact age, the details. That's why we have to reside with other sort of working. Friends, whatever the way you will ask the question will make the entire difference. So if I just relate it with the type of question once again, please look for open-ended question, open-ended quantitative, that is called as the ratio measurement. Open-ended quantitative is called as the ratio measurement. Open-ended qualitative is outside the preview of any statistical tool. We cannot apply Excel, SPSS, or these softwares on the qualitative data. For the qualitative data, there are different softwares like NVivo, Atlas TI, or there can be R can be used for some text mining. I am talking largely about the quantitative data. Quantitative, you need to convert into the numbers. So if open-ended quantitative, that's the best ever measurement. That's the ratio data. The others one, MCQ. Now please look for MCQ will be either nominal or ordinal. So if I add one more category here, transgender, and here also PSD. Now please look for here, it means both of them are now gender, boy, girl, transgender. It becomes MCQ. Qualification, graduate, postgraduate, PhD, it is also MCQ. But gender is a nominal and qualification is an ordinal. So you will find all the time that MCQ questions are either nominal or ordinal. Binary questions, either nominal or ordinal. Then scale questions, strongly agree to strongly disagree. Though we should have a separate discussion on that, but just as a passing remarks, what do you think? For a particular statement, I answered agree and somebody else answered strongly agree. So his or her views are more intense than me or double than my instance. Can I say, you can give numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. But can I say strongly agree is 2 times more powerful reply than agree? Or highly satisfied is 2 times or 3 times more satisfied than the person who clicked on satisfied? No, we can say it's more or less. So it's more of ordinal. So it's not interval. You can't measure. What is the difference between highly satisfied and satisfied? We can't measure the difference. So this is ordinal measurement. So these scales are ordinal measurement. Ranking questions are ordinal measurement. Isn't it? See the human mind, beauty of the human mind. I say there are, let's take 3, 4 celebrities. The new age celebrities, let's say Varun Dhawan, Siddharth Kapoor, and Mcq Questions. So I ask you that please rank them 1, 2, 3. So you think for a moment and you say that Varun Dhawan has rank 1, Mcq Questions has rank 2, and so on. Please see, so many things are going in your mind, and all those things you converted into a number 1. So you have already put them into an order. By default, you put into the order. So ranking questions are always ordinal. So if we just make a summary, because now we are moving towards the choice of correct statistical tool and technique, MCQ questions, either nominal or ordinal. Binary questions, either nominal or ordinal. Ranking question, always ordinal. Scale question, formative scales, ordinal. Likert scale, I will take that as interval. I have not discussed what is Likert scale. I will discuss it later. Likert scale is interval. Open-ended quantitative questions. What is your income? Fill in the blank. What is your height? Dash. What is your age? Dash. This is called open-ended quantitative question, and they generate ratio measurement. Friends, the first two, nominal and ordinal, are collectively called as non-metric. The next two, interval and ratio, are called as metric. First two, nominal and ordinal, they are also called as categorical question, because questions are there in the category format. Multiple choice or these categories are there. So we can call them as nominal ordinal, we can call them as categorical, we can call them as non-metric. The interval and the ratio. Interval, I am just saying Likert scale, which I have not discussed so far. Conditions apply. Likert scale and open-ended questions. Any question, any data taken from the secondary data in actual units, monetary data, export-import figures, RBI data, these all are ratio data. We can say 20,000 crore is 2 times 10,000 crore. On the basis of these, we devise, and then now let's write certain steps. So now friends, we are reaching towards the end of our session. These are some of the steps. So I'm concluding what I have discussed in the 3 topics. And these are the basically steps for choosing the appropriate tool and technique. Friends, I have observed on the YouTube, you will find maybe 10,000 videos for any particular technique. But there are very few videos, they will tell you how to choose for a particular tool or technique. What considerations we should take, what should be looked for choosing a particular tool or technique. So this is the methodology which I have understood over the years. The first one is we must start from the objective. Start from the objective, identify the number of variable and whether it's a univariate, bivariate or multivariate. If you are present in my previous 2 lectures, then we discussed one very important thing in English versus statistics. Statistics thinks differently than English in terms simply 2 will not constitute bivariate here. In English language, whenever it's more than 1, we say singular and plural. But in statistics, simply 2 variables, simply 3 variable will not make bivariate or multivariate. There has to be certain keywords. So we discussed inventory of words. We discussed certain cases where there were 4 variables, 3 variables, but there were 4 univariate objective, not a bivariate. So first you should be very comfortable with the number of variable and whether they constitute univariate, bivariate or multivariate objective. The second comes, now that you are comfortable with your variables, please look for their role, whether they are dependent, independent, control, mediator, moderator. In the previous lecture, we discussed a little about control variable. I have not discussed in detail, but I just try to sensitize you that there is something called control variable. Control variable are those independent variables which we know that they already influence your dependent variable. So independent variable is which you are studying, but control variable are those which you already know their effect is there. So you don't intend to study, but you need to control their effect. There are certain ways for that. The next, today we discussed about identify the measurement of the variable, that's metric or non-metric. I understand friends, this is a very exhaustive, very vast topic, and actually we should talk in face-to-face. Here I'm going with one-way communication. You must be having millions of your doubts, your understanding of metric, non-metric, nominal, ordinal. But let me just give you a summary once again. What sort of question will generate what sort of measurement? This is as per my understanding. MCQ questions will be either nominal or ordinal. Binary questions, either nominal or ordinal. Ranking questions, always ordinal. Scale questions are of 2 types. A simple formative scale are ordinal, and Likert scale is interval. Open-ended quantitative. any data collected by experiments, scientific experiments, where units are specified, any data taken from the financial data, where rupee is the measured in rupee terms, banking data, export import data, this all is the ratio data. Now, finally, you will take one step more. Step D says, if it is bivariate or multivariate, it's always advisable you go for the review of literature, make a hypothesis, what the previous result, previous study says is the proposed relation, make a hypothesis. So please look, most of the scholars unfortunately do the reverse engineering. They first collect the data, then they think of, okay, now what sort of technique I should apply. Friends, it's a wrong method. First, objective will come, variables will come, their roles will come, and their measurements will come. Once you have understood all these things and you have gone for review of literature, you are ready with a hypothesis. Now part E says refer table number 1, 2, or 3. So let me show you table number 1, 2, and 3, and that will be the conclusion for our day. What is table number 1, 2, 3? I am reconnecting, resharing my screen. So Suman, please give feedback. Is this visible to you? So I hope the screen is visible to all of you. The file I have already shared with Suman. He will send to all. Friends, this is what I have concluded over the years, my understanding. If you got one variable only and you chose metric, metric means age. What is your age? Fill in the blanks. The tool technique applicable are mean, median, sigma, or sometime later we will discuss one sample t-test. If I'll simply note down, for example, gender, how many boys and girls, I can just go for count and percentage. It's non-metric. One variable measured on non-metric, it's count and percentage. For example, I simply note down okay, thank you so much. So if I'll out of, as of now, 95 are total people on this meeting. So if I'll simply note down the place you belong to, how many of you are from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka, Telangana, Odisha, and so on, simply the person belonging to one state. Now this one is nominal measurement, and for that I have just one variable. So look for one variable, non-metric, all I can apply is the count and percentage. So please look for, if you wish to apply t-test or regression, there must be two variables and you must make an objective to study their relation or association or difference. So the problem is most of the scholars which I have come across, they have written univariate analysis and then they say, my guide says, or some people say, you must apply t-test. So first you must write objectives properly, only then the relevant test or technique will come. If it's a bivariate, friends, let me zoom this portion a little bit. If you got bivariate analysis, so you may ask what is there in the red? The red one is the address of where you can find this thing into SPSS. So since I take workshops on SPSS and RStudio, I have made the similar file for RStudio also. So this one is for the RStudio. These are the name of the commands, t.test, summary tools, core, LD, etc. And these are for the SPSS. Let's discuss them one by one and then we will stop here. If I got the objective like to study the effect of stress on marks of students. Please look at it once again. To study the effect of stress on the marks of students. Okay, can you see there are the two variables and I'm looking for checking the effect. So there is a connector which connects the two. It's a bivariate objective. Now you can't say that apply t-test, apply this. No, it's partly. Come to know this is a bivariate, but bivariates there are 4 types: correlation regression, or hypothesis testing, or linear discriminant analysis, or cross-step. Now, which one we will use will depend on how you measured. For example, I measured that marks are the actual marks. So remember, actual marks will be ratio, it is metric. The moment I have taken one, this is metric, and the other stress, I have just asked the question, are you in stress? Yes or no? Okay. So simply see, first my objective is to study the effect of stress on the marks. 2 variables, one is stress, one is marks, and there is a connector also to study the effect. The effect word doesn't matter whether you write effect or you write impact or you write relation or you write association, doesn't matter, absolutely doesn't matter. So basic intention is you want to see the relation. Yes, it becomes a bivariate. Okay, first tell me, marks depends on stress or stress depends on marks? You have to take a call. You need to decide on your own. Let's assume for a moment I take marks depends on stress. More is the stress, lesser will be the marks, poor performance. This is what the previous study says. Okay, dependent variable is marks and independent is stress. The third question comes, how you measured? So I measured marks as the actual marks. Actual marks are metric. Now suddenly I come to this zone. Dependent variable is metric. Either correlation regression will be applied or hypothesis, not this block. Okay, the last question, have you measured stress? If I'll say I measured stress in terms of yes, no, my simple question is, are you in stress? Yes or no? Can you see it's a binary question? And the measurement it will generate will be nominal. Nominal is called non-metric. So my dependent variable is metric, independent non-metric, I comes to hypothesis testing. And there is one more point, how many categories are there? Remember, non-metric is also called categorical, non-metric is also called MCQ or binary. How many options you have? If you have 2 options only, for example, I ask the question, are you in stress? Yes, no. If the answer is yes or no, only 2, it's 2 are the categories, 2 are the options. If 2 are the options, we use t-test. If there are the 3 options, we use one-way ANOVA. Please look for, if I'll make just a minor change, I ask the stress level on the Likert scale or 5-point scale. Now, how is the stress? If I start from the starting to study the effect of stress on the marks, still bivariate, still 2 variables and there is a relation. Who's dependent, who's independent? Still marks is dependent and stress is independent. How I measured? Marks, I still measured actual marks, that's metric, and stress I measured on 5-point Likert scale. Now that is an interval measurement, and interval means it's a metric. Now I will come to the metric. Metric means simple regression. So last question, what is the difference between correlation and regression? So if you have 2 variables and you have no idea who's dependent, who's independent, you start with correlation. When you have precise idea, this is a correlate, this is dependent, this is independent, it's called regression. So on the lighter side, friends, I say correlation and regression are just like before the marriage, after the marriage. So before the marriage, a girl and a boy, 2 are the friends. By virtue of their gender, you call them as boyfriend and girlfriend, otherwise both are friends. That's why R between X and Y is same between Y and X. If you remember that property, correlation between X and Y is same that between Y and X. But after the marriage, what happens? One of them becomes husband, other becomes wife. It is a non-transferable designation. So just like when the identity certainty is there for their roles, who's DV, who's IDV, then it is called regression. Please remember, regression got two types, y on x, x on y. It's not like the correlation. bxy is not byx. Correlation between the two is same. Regression between x and y and x are two different things. So depending on how you measure, we will take, this is table number 2, table number 1, table number 2, and then there is something called table number 3 for the multivariate also. So in the multivariate, we have things like multivariate regression, n-way ANOVA. Maybe you have heard of terms like two-way ANOVA, three-way ANOVA, two-way ANCOVA, multinomial regression, log linear analysis. Well, there is so much to discuss, but you need not to worry. For all things in statistics, friends, I told you in the lecture number 1, there is a grammar of statistics. There's a question from Vishnu, sir. If we use regression, can we put the assumption in our study? Yes, sir. If you are using regression, certainly you will take care of the assumptions. There are 10 assumptions of regression. We will discuss them someday. Today we are just looking, Vishnu, sir. I told you in the first lecture, the language of statistics, the grammar of statistics, it looks for the three things. What are the three things? It looks for number 1, how many variables you have. Number 2, it looks for how you measured them, metric or non-metric. And third thing, if you can tell me who's the dependent, who's the independent, you can open all the gates of statistics. It's very simple, very logical and fixed. It's a three thing. In the last lecture, I told you, in the very last, these are inseparable from the objective. You take out the variable, there is a particular way you measure the variable, and then there is an appropriate tool or technique. Friends, you are free to choose your measurement. For example, in the question of, is there any effect of stress on marks? Can you see these are two variables, and effect word means I am looking for their relation. Variables are the same, objective is the same. So objective up to here will tell me it's a case of bivariate, but it's actually the measurement. How will you measure? What question you will ask to the respondent? That will make the whole difference. If I decide to ask the question like your marks, first division or second division. Now can you see what is this type? First division, second division? It's a binary question with ordinal measurement, and ordinal is called non-metric. Now suddenly I will come into this zone, non-metric. And what is my way I measured my stress? I measured, are you in stress? Yes, no. That means my independent variable got two category, and that's again non-metric. Now in this case, I come to the cross tab and I will apply the chi-square test. It means it depends on us. You can take any variables, whatever you like. You can measure them whatever way you like. But once you have taken the two steps, now you are bound to take a particular tool or technique. You are not free in the third step. You can't say that, okay, let me apply regression or let me apply t-test. No, you can't. You are free in working on any variable. You are free on measuring them whatever way you like, but you are not free in the choice of technique. These are the some standard rules for that. So in this particular Excel file, which I have given to Suman, he will share with all of you. There are 4 or 5 things. One, that these tables I have expressed in terms of RStudio. If somebody is working on RStudio, these are the commands for that. I have worked for SPSS. Then, you know, I told you in the last lecture, every single thing in statistics is univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. So how can the plots are not univariate, bivariate, and metric, non-metric? So we use histogram when there is one variable and data is metric. We use bar chart when one variable data is non-metric. We use scatter plot when two variables both are metric. We use mosaic plot or scattered bar chart when there are two variables both are non-metric, and box plot, etc. Then maybe in some further lectures we will talk about the hypothesis testing. There are 11 tests We'll talk about it someday. And then we'll talk about the regression also, the various forms of regression. So these are the things which I generally cover, but I was more interested in covering the fundamentals, basics, friends. Now, if you write on the YouTube simple regression, binary regression, you will find 100 of the video in your own language also. But what is missing is mostly very few videos are available where they teach you how to arrive at the decision which tool or technique will be applicable. Friends, let me tell you, statistical techniques are not good or bad. Nobody can say that structural equation modeling or any sort of complex regression is better than percentage. Nobody can say this thing. Statistical techniques are appropriate and not appropriate or inappropriate. In whatever way you choose, there will be some tool or technique will be applicable there. Please be assured of that. They are not good or bad. Whatever way you measure your variables, that's perfectly okay. And then use the appropriate tool and technique. Focus on the three things. I'm saying it again and again. How many variables you have, and do you have univariate, bivariate, or multivariate objective? Friends, please look. Simply writing name of the three variable will not make it is a bivariate or multivariate. There has to be some connector words. You must understand the grammar of statistics, how statistics works and thinks. It is not influenced by your knowledge of English. It gives no weightage to your excellent vocab and your beauty of English. It's a totally different way. It thinks in a different way. Understand the language of statistics. Three are the things. The first question asked by Gabbar Singh. Remember, Gabbar was a first data scientist. How many variables we have? How you measured them? And what is their role? Who's a dependent? Who's a independent? On the basis of these three, we have univariate, bivariate, multivariate, and every single lock will be opened. So that's all from my side.